I should have worn my Spoon jacket. Ready? What's up guys, Larry Chen here. I'm with my buddy Aaron. We are at Spoon Sports USA, and this is quite the display that you have going. It's a lot of liveried cars, and then you have a couple non-livery cars. What is this place?
So this is our base of operations for Spoon USA. We basically do all the distribution, office work. This is, if you call us, this is where we are when we pick up the phone. We ship out everything for Spoon in the US out of here. Containers come in, parts go out. It's basically just our headquarters.
So this is the one that we just shot at Circuit of the Americas, and this is also the 25-hour of Thunderhill winning car. But let's talk about some of these other vehicles that you have here. What's going on with this fit?
Yeah, so this fit we built for SEMA in 2014. It was a car that we originally just planned to do the 25 hours of Thunderhill with. That was the design concept of the car. It was like an endurance race car. So, Honda gave us a car, and then we built it as an endurance car. We planned to run the race that year, but things fell through, so we didn't race it. So it's basically a brand new race car that is still road legal and registered and insured.
Wait, so how many miles is on this?
I think it has like 400 miles. It's like basically delivery miles.
So it's basically a brand new race car. It's caged, everything, all ready to go.
Yeah. You can run an endurance race with it. You can go track day. You can drive it on the street, I think. I mean, it's legal because for endurance racing, we don't really modify the engine very much. So it still has all the emission stuff in it, and still has AC, radio, speakers.
So you could get this service at the dealership?
Yeah. So recently we had to get it serviced because there was a recall, and in order to register it, we had to clear that recall. So I literally drove this thing to the dealership, got the recall done, and was able to register it.
So can I drive this one today on the street?
Yeah. The plates are still up to date. It has registration. You can just get in and go.
I'm just so blown away. So full-on race car, endurance race car, and also on top of that, a Spoon liveried car. Very, very cool. All right, so this one is really famous. You drove this in Time Attack for a couple of years, correct?
Yeah, well, I didn't drive it. Dai drove it, but we built the car, so it was, it was a pretty nice car back in the day.
You have driven it, though.
I have driven it.
Yeah.
I do a little bit of testing on it, just when Dai can't be in the car. Or if I were doing an exhibition and Dai's busy, so I'll hop in and do a couple laps just to put the car around. But yeah, when we brought this car out back in 2016 or 17, back then, it did beat some records at the time. That's when front wheel drive wasn't that popular.
So what did this start life as?
Originally, long time ago, it was the 5 Ziegen Time Attack car in Japan. Actually, I think even before that, it was a one make race. So the car has no VINs. It came in body as white. So 5 Ziegen, I think ran it in one of those Civic Type R one make race series. And then they turned it into a Time Attack car, and then Spoon in Japan acquired it. They changed a few things, but then when we got it, we initially ran it as is and realized it was pretty quick. So after campaigning 1 year in Time Attack, we literally stripped the car down to bare shell, recaged it, obviously did the center drive that it's kind of known for.
So this is what you guys did, though.
Yeah,
you guys actually did the center.
There's almost nothing that we carried over from when Spoon or 5 Ziegen had the car. We went over it from scratch. Everything is different. It's just basically the chassis came from them, and then that's where it originated.
So, because this car, it never came out in the U.S. What year is this, and what kind of car is this?
So this is a 2008 Civic Type R. It's actually a real Civic Type R chassis. So it originally was right-hand drive, and then we basically just changed everything. So this is a Spoon bumper, but for Time Attack, we didn't need all the grills and the vents, so we closed everything off for better aero. Added a bunch of downforce, flat bottom, and we changed around the turbo system. It's now running a Garrett 35 series turbo. K-tune center intake. But yeah, the car, it's been retired. So I think the last time we competed, it was maybe 2018. We did like 2016, 17, 18 with the car. So that's a nice 3-year run we did.
Do you remember how much power this thing put down?
It wasn't a lot. I think the max we ever got out of it was 550. We didn't want to push it too hard because it's still a 2-liter. A lot of these guys are doing, 2.4 strokers, so they can handle more power with like sleeve blocks and everything. So this is not a sleeve block. All it has are pistons and rods. It's basically a stock bottom end. So I don't think it can do more than 500, 550. But that's pretty much at race trim. It was around there.
And is this the original block that came with this car?
Yes, the block is original, but we did rebuild the car. We rebuilt the motor. But most of the components are original. I think we just took it apart to make sure it was still good inside. Yeah. But we didn't change any of the components.
It's interesting because there's a couple things going on here. First of all, why the center seat?
So honestly, for a front-wheel drive car, all the weight is in the front. So the original idea was to move the driver as far back as possible. And it's nice because it's a sedan, 4 doors. It has so much space back there. So the original idea was just to push the driver back. But when we were doing that, we're like, okay, well, we have to move the steering column, move all this stuff. And then we realized like, hey, we could just move them to the center too, because if we're making all these modifications and moving a steering rack, it might be kind of cool. It's also safer, and it's not really beneficial in the sense that you're gaining more benefit from moving the driver back versus just in the center. I mean, obviously weight distribution is a little bit better, but a lot of people offset that with like either they put the battery or other stuff on the passenger side to offset the driver. So that's not the biggest reason, but I mean, it's kind of cool, right?
Well, yeah, but also maybe visibility kind of helps?
Actually, it made it a lot worse when we moved the driver back, because now the dashboard, you're not closer to the dash anymore, so you kind of lose your sense of perspective. And I think Dai was saying that it gets a little bit weird because he's so far back, not because he's in the center. It's the distance back that really makes the difference, because the windshield is really far forward now. If you see, he's behind the pillar.
Right. Huh. I see. Oh, I see what you mean. Like if you look out the window, you're not going to...
And you can't see out the side window anymore. You're literally looking at a pillar.
Yeah.
So the side window is like kind of 3/4 view in front of you. So your perspectives are a little bit off. For suspension, I guess, tuning and feel, it's really odd now because you're now in the center of the axis of rotation of the car, versus before you're in one corner, so you could feel the car up and down, left and right, you could feel the pitch. But now it's like the center of a ball. You're stationary where the car moves around you. So your feel is a little bit different for trying to tune the car. So that was a little bit of a road bump that we had to kind of get around, but we figured it out.
For its time, it was like an all-out front-wheel drive time attack car, like as much power as you can put.
Yeah, because before this, the fastest time attack car was Chris Rado's F-Wing, the crazy one, 1,000 horsepower, big wing in the front. And then everybody thought that either all-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive would be faster for time attack. So that's kind of the direction they went. And then when we came out with this, we started beating records. Obviously, we beat the front-wheel drive record, but we were starting to push really fast. And then a lot of other guys started getting into it, and then they just went crazy.
Oh, so this actually broke Chris Rado's front-wheel drive record.
This car broke Chris Rado's record first. And then after that, all the other front-wheel drive Honda Civic guys just went crazy.
Yeah, because at the time, I followed that program pretty closely when he was traveling the country, even to the point where he would travel to a track, only do 2 laps, and it would blow up because he's pushing it so hard, but still break the front-wheel drive record.
Yeah.
But also, it's kind of a different take on how to race. For him, it's like brute force, brute power,
right?
Biggest tire possible, biggest aero, and weight was not an issue.
Right.
Versus this is more of like a balanced
So
approach.
when we broke the record, I think we only had probably 450 horsepower. So it was like a lower end before we kind of went through the motor with a new turbo. So we kind of did it a different way. We made the car as light as possible. We didn't need the power, so we didn't need as big as tire. So we kind of did it more of efficiency versus brute force. But then, people later on did the same philosophy, but then they added a lot of power and more tire and more aero, and then that's pretty much the formula you need to break records. And front-wheel drive cars, from what Dai tells us, they're a lot easier to get lap time out of, and they're more forgiving versus like an all-wheel drive or wheel drive car. You have to really manhandle, and it's hard to get those lap times out.
So this one, Lewis actually shot a couple years ago. Of course, the centerpiece of this is the top.
This is just the S2000 Demo car that we have. It's fully street legal, and you'll notice that it's white instead of blue and yellow because blue and yellow is dedicated solely to race cars. We don't do the blue and yellow livery on street cars, and this is a street car. So it's just a street demo car with all our parts on it. It's a whole catalog thrown at it.
Can we take a look under the engine bay?
Yeah.
Also, on top of that, there are still some blue and yellow accents around.
Yeah, because obviously we wanted to still pay homage to the Spoon color scheme.
So what are we looking at here? This is the whole Japanese tuning philosophy. Leave a lot of things stock.
Yeah.
But so much is touched, huh?
It's just a Spoon motor. Most of it's suspension work. Spoon strut bar, Spoon radiator hoses, head cover, plug cover. It's all mostly cosmetic under the hood that you can see, but the majority of the S2000 parts are in the suspension. So it's obviously the coilovers, ball joints, camber joints,
And
bump steer kits.
who makes this?
That's a Spoon body
okay.
kit. So this is Spoon front bumper, Spoon fenders, front rear fenders.
Is it a lot wider than stock?
It's 20 mil wider, basically like an inch.
Wheels, obviously.
Yeah, obviously Spoon. These are the new SW388 wheels, the new ones that we reintroduced. Spoon,
Brakes.
Spoon brakes. We have a hood, mirrors.
Oh, the hood is a Spoon hood.
Yeah, this is a Spoon hood also.
Oh. And what material is this?
It's fiberglass, yeah. So it's mainly used for cooling. So the vents are going to help a lot with heat soak.
And this is fiberglass?
Yeah, all the body parts are fiberglass.
And what about the back area?
Rear fenders, Spoon wing, Spoon bumper, Spoon exhaust diffuser.
This is even Spoon? This over
Yeah,
fender?
this over fender Spoon.
Oh, cool. You didn't change this.
No, this is a stock rear fender. We put the over fender on, we cut out the inside so we can get a little more track width out of it.
So this is the craziest part of
Yeah,
the whole
so this
car.
was a concept that we introduced at Tokyo Auto Salon. It's basically a one-off, one full solid piece of billet aluminum that was milled. This is a S2000 CR cover that it kind of mates to.
So then have people hit you up to make this?
No one really has because once we kind of tell them the cost of it, it's like between 20 and 30,000 to make these. But it's a concept, so obviously like concept stuff is a lot more expensive. Even concept cars obviously are millions of dollars just because the way they manufacture it is different.
You're telling me this top is just as much as the car was originally?
Yeah, just because this was 2 weeks of machine time. And the block of aluminum alone was a couple grand. Obviously, there was a lot of waste. If it ever went to production, we wouldn't make it like this. But as a concept, that's how it came out.
This is so weird. So it's like kind of like a metal bikini top kind of thing?
I guess you could say it's like a metal thong, I don't know, for your roof. Yeah. But it's, because you need the piece of billet, and then you need the fiberglass piece in the middle, and then you need the plexiglass. There's so many molds and components to this, it skyrocketed the price. But
So then what about this? What is this from?
no, these are all one-offs. This is not from anything else. These are made for this.
So then like,
So you have
guys
to
had
mold
to make,
this. Yeah.
make the glass or
Yeah.
what is this?
Plexiglass, yeah.
You had to make this.
So you have to form that, you have to form this, and then obviously you have to,
and it's branded still.
yeah.
That is so incredible. Like what a cool, and you don't really get the effect of it until you look underneath it.
Right. From the outside, you kind of just see it just looks a little strange. But then when you sit in it, it's cool because it's obviously plexiglass on top. So you get like you feel like the car's bigger.
Okay, so, and you've driven this on the street. How does it feel with it?
It's
Like this?
It's kind of cool.
Does
You
it
don't
make a
really notice
whistling
it.
noise or
No,
something?
it's pretty quiet. the car's loud, so that's pretty much all you hear is exhaust.
And inside you have Spoon.
Yeah, these are Spoon seats, Spoon
Spoon
steering wheel. What else do I have? Maybe shift knob. It's basically just the whole catalog.
The entire parts catalog on this one
just
car.
thrown into it, yeah. It's a little dirty because Dai took this to shoot one of his videos, and I think he, I don't know, either went off course or got really dusty. But
it looks like he went drifting.
Yeah, we haven't washed it since.
This is so cool. You don't really get the full effect of this until you actually look inside of it.
We always welcome people to get in, sit in, look around. That's when they get that wow factor. When they look from the outside, it's like, oh, that's interesting. And they sit in, oh, wow, that's cool.
I also like the fact that you guys left it raw.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty cool just to show off the fact that it's actual.
Exactly. You see all the machining marks still, and you can kind of see where the path takes to machine this thing. So it's raw aluminum to kind of give it that effect.
What else do we have here? We got a Ferrari. Not interesting.
No.
We have another street car here.
Yeah, this is a ASM demo car. It's just a regular street car. Nothing special, just something you can drive and not have to worry about.
It's funny you say it's not special, but now these are just so expensive now.
It is true.
What is this front bumper?
It's ASM. It's another brand that we carry.
Got it. This is really clean. What other cars do you have here? You have
this was our USA Spoon Civic Type R demo car, but it kind of got molested at Thunder Hill because we took this as a spare car in case we needed any parts for the race car, because it's easier to just have a complete car rather than just carry a bunch of spare parts. So we took this and we ended up using it. We took a bunch of parts off there that we needed for the race car, and then we had some friends that were pitting next to us. They needed some parts too, so we kind of let them borrow them.
Like Daniel Wu's was running a Civic Type R too, right?
So
a lot of the parts ended up on his car.
Yeah, a few of the parts ended up on his car. I guess their car didn't pass sound, so they took the exhaust off this. I think they had needed some brackets somewhere, so they took that. And recently he took the front bumper off this car.
It's kind of funny because that's kind of one of the warnings, I guess, that you get when you even show up for that race as a spectator or a photographer or whatever, or a crew guy. Do not drive the cars that are racing in the series. Do not bring any Miata of any year. Do not bring BMW E30 or E46, whatever. There's so many cars that you shouldn't bring because it can be pillaged. In the middle of the night, when you're asleep, someone will jack up your car and take all those good things, like a whole corner, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. If someone needed a fender, I mean, that's why we took this car. If we needed some body part or, God forbid, some random sensor, you're not going to ever think to bring spare sensors or like some module. And we ended up taking the fuel pump off this car, which we didn't really need. We have 2 fuel pumps on the race car, but the primary one failed. We still have our backup, but then, obviously we needed a backup in case that failed, so ripped it out of this car. And we've run races in the past where we brought spare parts. Yeah. But you end up with a mountain of spare parts that you don't need, and probably you're not going to have the one you do need when you go and look for it. So it's better just to bring a whole car. That's really the whole thing about endurance racing, right? What's going to stop you is a $5 part. And we've seen that, for example, with Toyota at 24-hour Le Mans, just breaking, near the last lap from a $5 part. But it's good that you're able to bring a whole car, just a spare car. Yeah, I mean, we have a spare car, so why not? Yeah. We've had a chance to shoot some of the center seat car, of course, the 25-hour car, as well as the S2000. The only car that we haven't shot here that I want to take pictures of is the Fit. So we'll take that out. I'll get a couple shots of that, but also drive it on the street. I think that will be very fun. You're more than welcome to. And, we don't know what to do with it. So if someone wanted to buy it, make us an offer. So if you want to own a real Spoon race car that's already caged, all ready to go, that's driven by me,
then yeah.
Is that
hit,
added
hit up
value?
Aaron. Hit up
Is that
Aaron.
added value?
Yeah,
or
it is.
okay.
No. Actually, it decreases the value.
Depreciates it?
It
Okay.
depreciates it. Hit up Aaron at Spoon Sports USA. So yeah.
Look how short the bumper is.
Oh wow.
The US bumpers are longer.
Yeah.
So even the front bumper, the US one's really long.
Uh-huh.
So this was converted. These are actually Japanese taillight. This is Japanese. The bumper's like, you can obviously tell.
Dang.
It's like, it doesn't stick out. This wouldn't pass. The Japanese spec is just shorter.
Right.
So this is a RS bumper and it's
Yeah.
slightly different. It's got these little flares and this is the RS side skirt.
But what's different with the RS versus the regular fit?
Well, the suspension's a little lower, it's stiffer, the aero package. So it's not a full R. So RS just means like somewhere in the middle.
I wonder why Honda never came out with a Fit Type R.
Oh, well, I mean, it's an econo car.
But it's so cool.
Yeah.
You're telling me these aren't econo cars? The rest of them are econo cars?
But I think Honda had the Type R in mind when they designed the 10th gen. So that's why the chassis is so good.
Right.
So you still have to kind of develop it with that in mind.
But even like the old ones, like the Integra Type R or the DC2, and then also like the EG, those are economy cars, you know?
Yeah.
They're economy cars first.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so crazy. I would have loved to see a Fit Type R. I'm sure a lot of people have made it, right?
Yeah, I guess you could stick like a K20 in here, which is pretty common.
Uh-huh.
So these are like the Japanese headlights. These are LED headlights, not the regular. I think the US does, I think they have HIDs, but they're usually just halogen, and then it has like the LEDs, these, and then the bumper's super short.
I love the way they look. So the first gen Fit, I think is the best looking one.
Yeah, because it's very like K car looking.
Yeah.
Even though it's not a K car, it's kind of, it has that micro car look.
Is there anything I need to know about this thing when I'm...
The thing is, the battery doesn't hold charge anymore.
Okay, so no, don't turn it off.
Just don't turn off the car.
Okay, all right. So I won't install it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna drive it around the block. I'm not.
Go do whatever you
No,
want.
I don't.
It's fun because it's light.
Right.
Yeah, so it's light, so it feels faster, you know.
All right. Well, it is gutted. Oh wow. It is so. It is all gutted. Jeez, so cool. This is what I like about the race cars that you guys build. Like, there's still rubber on all the trim and everything, and all the fit and finish. Like the door, there's no reason why all this rubber needs to be here, right?
No, but it's nice.
Yeah, it makes it really nice.
For endurance racing, we usually keep it because if it starts raining really hard.
Right.
And the biggest thing is we want the drivers to be comfortable.
Yeah.
So that's why the HVAC system, there's the heater still in there. Sometimes it gets too cold.
Yeah, but also you need defroster.
Defroster.
Yeah. This is the cool thing about these race cars. Like this, and also the FK8 race car, they kind of have the same feeling, I guess, or the same mentality behind the build.
Right. Yeah, we like to build nice looking cars. There's no reason a race car doesn't have, shouldn't be like nice.
Yeah.
It should look nice. Like you can get in a Porsche Cup car.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty nice inside,
They're really nice, yeah. So, for example, with this, you guys took it down to bare metal, huh?
Yeah. Obviously, we put all the trim back on it.
Yeah, but it's crazy. There's no inkling of what the car was before, color-wise. It looks really, really good.
It was a black car. Originally.
Okay, yeah. See, there's no way to tell. You guys even did a block-off plate for the sunroof.
Yeah, it was obviously take off the sunroof.
So, do you know how much this weighs by any chance?
Actually, we don't. We never weighed it.
It's probably very light. But it's just crazy. You look at back here, and it's just so much empty space.
Yeah, the fit was a great design to begin with. I don't know if you've driven like street fits, but they're nice.
What's interesting to me is the cage work. The fact that it doesn't need to go all the way back here.
Yeah, it was built to a different spec back then. So the new car, we obviously did a really nice cage, 3D scan and everything. But this was during a time where this cage was shipped to us from Japan out of their Super Tycoon endurance car. So in America, we would never build a rear diagonal this small, this skinny. But they had a cage already made, and then they shipped it to us, and we put it in this car. not exactly what we would do in America, but in Japan the regulations are a lot different. But I mean, if it was good enough for Super Tycoon, we figure it should be okay for our endurance race.
Whoa, real race car things. It's interesting that you guys even had a passenger seat. Whoa, it's almost like it has a moonroof.
Yeah.
Because the light still goes through.
It wasn't on purpose, but it's kind of cool.
That is cool. In terms of race cars, I bet this is so much fun to drive because it's like you get to push this.
Yeah, and it's not scary.
Yeah, you get to floor it pretty much all the time, nonstop.
Yep.
And it's manageable.
Build a car, there's certain things where we left this too. Because at night at Thunder Hill, you kind of need to see when you're doing driver changes.
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those race car things that aren't normal.
The driver changes, you still have a lot of time for them, right? It's not like you have to do it as quick as possible. I guess that's the nice thing is it's a way to make less mistakes also. Sure,
because we have to change 4 tires.
Yeah.
Or at least 1 tire, and then fuel usually takes the longest. So you have some time.
Oh, so you do sit a lot lower in this than a regular fit.
Yeah, the seats, they're buckets, so the rails get you a lot lower. The factory seat is usually pretty tall.
And most of the dash, all of this stuff is still intact.
Yeah, so we kept this. We had an idea to do the reverse camera, like constant on. So we kept this system active so that we could still do that.
And then it's interesting the door panels are still in it too.
Yeah, that's well, we need the door panel because we wouldn't run these mirrors for Thunderhill. We would run the factory mirrors so we can adjust them. Because when you do driver's changes, and then people always have different preferences, or if these get hit and for whatever reason we need to be able to move them. So this was like a SEMA kind of thing. Center console we probably would have taken out, but I mean, there's a lot of SEMA stuff on here. You know, so sometimes SEMA just has to look good. Yeah. And it does. It looks good. It's comfortable, and it's still street capable. Like if we were to actually go racing, we would strip out some of these things and add others. Like there's no extinguisher in here. We would have to put a suppression system in. It's interesting. I look at this dashboard and there's only one light, and obviously it's the airbag light. Yeah, that's my philosophy. I can't handle lights. Yeah, it just messes with me. And then to be honest, it's so much easier to diagnose problems when you have a problem with a car when there's no lights, because you're like, oh, that light, has always been on, but there's something wrong with the car and you don't know what it is because you're always chasing bugs. So it's nice just to start from a clean slate and not have a million warning lights on the dash. Here we go. Real race car things. Oh man, you can really hear everything because all the sound deadening is taken out. Yeah. It's crazy how light this clutch is. Yeah. Because is this a stock clutch? Yeah, it's a stock clutch. Yeah, like I could just leave the weight of my foot on top of it and then it'll push it down. But that's what's going to last 25 hours. Exactly. Because how much time would you gain from just a harder shift? Well, it's not that too. It's more durable. The driver fatigue is part of it. Yeah. Oh, it is really stiff in the back, huh? Yeah. Oh. Suspension's really stiff. It sounds good. Yeah, it's a straight titanium pipe. Wow, the rear suspension is crazy. Or is that just a combination of the front and the rear? Well, it's front wheel drive car, so we usually run the rear really steep just to get the car to rotate. We're just driving a normal street car. And this is the cutest shifter too. It's a smooth shift knob. Awesome. Straight up. Race car on the street. Yeah. This is it's like rowdy without being rowdy. Because it's just stiff. My spine. But with that said, Thunder Hill is a lot smoother than just OC streets. So transmission stock also? Yes. Okay. Transmission stock. So it drives drives pretty easily.
Yeah.
Just like a normal car. Just
I bet it gets good gas mileage still.
I'm sure it does.
Uh-huh.
The combination of less weight and stock powertrain, it probably get like 50 miles per gallon.
That's the advantage. So then what class would you run in this?
Oh, this would be like E3, but the slowest class.
Got it.
Because they classify by power to weight, and we have stock power, and the car's probably still pretty heavy, even though it's stripped out. You can turn left.
Signals, everything still works. So do you know if you would have to put like a big light pod up front?
Yeah, we would add additional lights.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, I'm actually, it would have been really cool to see this race.
Yeah, it's like a build that never was almost.
Yeah.
But it's kind of cool because it's a race car that was never run.
Yeah.
Which is kind of rare, you know.
So you never even thought to take this onto a track at all?
We've done like some track days with it as exhibition, just for fun.
Yeah.
But we've never run in competition.
Got it. Just like HPD.
Yeah.
Thing is, the livery, like I'm looking at everybody and everyone's staring at it. Because
Yeah,
it's such a loud livery.
It is.
But the car itself, I mean, how much power does this thing make? Like 120?
Probably something like that.
I don't even know, but that was just my guess.
Let's push it. See, I mean, it's pretty
Yeah.
heavy.
Oh my god, that rev limiter is like so soft. That is the softest rev limiter.
Kind of funny.
It's funny because like I'm even just using 2 fingers to shift.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure this would have been so much fun to drive. Does this mean because it's more fuel efficient and because it's slower, could you have done longer stints in it?
Oh yeah, for sure. So for example, our CRZ, we got third just because, we didn't break down and we were really fuel efficient. We didn't have to stop as much. The entire race, we only used 1 set of rear tires in that car. And I have a feeling if we did the same thing in this car, we probably wouldn't have to change the rear tires.
Yeah.
You would just probably only change like 1 front right tire, and that's pretty much it. So endurance racing is all about being efficient.
Yeah.
And part of that is ease of drivability.
Right.
Too.
But also the thing with this car and also the CRZ, I'm sure you were able to extract more of the potential of what the car offered, right?
Oh yeah, you just basically lift and coast on all the corners.
Yeah,
you don't have to even brake.
Yeah, because if you were to drive, like, I know GMG for a couple years, they brought out GT3 cars, they brought the RD-R8 RMS, right? It's hard to push something like that 10/10s for that long. You just can't.
And if you make a mistake, it's tragic. It's game over.
Yeah.
On these things, you can make all the mistakes you want, and you can probably like check your IG and still be fine. Like everything moves slower.
Yeah.
And there's so much more room for mistakes.
That's so funny.
So just based on that alone, you may do well because you may not get into trouble.
Dainty. That's the way I'm like.
Dainty?
Yeah, like you could just be so easy on this car for it being a full-on race car.
I think the AC still works.
Oh.
Yep.
AC, life of luxury.
It's one of those things it'd be nice to sell it, but then at the same time we'd miss it.
Yeah.
Because it's like a novelty, but they're worth good money now, so it might be smart to do the better business to see.
It makes me wonder what the most expensive Spoon vehicle would be. Would it be the NSX?
Well, the NSX did sell. I think it went for 150,000, but that was like 4 or 5 years ago.
It was a US one.
It sold to someone in Florida, yeah. It was sold at Tokyo Auto Salon to someone in America.
Right. But what about the one that's parked at Spoon right now?
That doesn't have as much heritage, so it may not. They built another one.
Okay.
Yeah, that was their backup car.
Yeah.
And then they kind of like brought it up front. And, So
Got
the
it.
one that was sold was actually the one that ran at the Macau Grand Prix.
Wow.
It has a lot of history behind that one.
That one, if it sold now, it probably would sell for way more.
Oh, yeah.
How many kg are the springs? It's like so insane.
Yeah, it's like go straight.
Oh, straight.
It's around 18, I think.
Oh my god. It's like no suspension at all.
Yeah, it's pretty stiff. It's probably too stiff, but we haven't really tuned the car.
Yeah. I'm sure it'll be fine on a very smooth track surface.
Yeah,
though.
it's not really meant for the street.
Yeah.
But, the front could probably be softer, but the rear we usually run pretty stiff.
Right. Because you want it to rotate.
Yeah.
I don't even feel it when the VTEC kicks in.
Well, it's a single overhead cam, so it doesn't. You don't really feel the VTEC as much.
Is it 5-speed?
Yeah, it's a 6-speed.
Oh, it's a 6-speed. Wow. Yeah, I think I would probably have to run butt cushion if I was driving this car.
The funny thing is, we take it to shows and stuff, and then one of the guys just has to drive it because we have too many cars. So
Yeah.
someone always has to drive this.
That's. It's still a fun drive though.
Yeah, it's fun.
I love
it's
it.
entertaining.
Man, but this with I would say double the power
Yeah.
would be kind of incredible.
If you stick a K20 in here,
Yeah.
it'd be so much fun.
Oh, it would be too good.
Yeah.
Dude, even the cage is so far away too.
Yeah, I think you're sitting really low, and this car inherently was tall to begin with because it's
Yeah.
like an econo car, so they make them pretty tall. Yeah, I mean, there's certain things that like aren't, obviously all these block-offs aren't necessary, but we just kind of like to do them.
Mm-hmm.
The cup
Just make
holder's
it
still
look-
there, which is fun.
It's squished. Oh, no, it isn't. It works.
Yeah.
Huh. That's so funny. How thoughtful.
The radio still works.
No way.
We put the speakers back in because it was going to be a street, well, I mean, we've been street driving it, so
Yeah.
we figured.
So then you did take out the airbag on that side though, right?
Yeah, the airbags are gone.
Okay.
Obviously, race trip, we would take everything back out, but
Mm-hmm.
since we've been kind of putting around the street, we'll put it back in.
Yeah.
So we actually have two more units here.
Uh-huh.
We have this corner unit, and then we have a unit over there.
Oh, for
Like,
storage?
Yeah, so we have a bunch of cars and Titan 7
Oh.
samples. Eddie has like a bunch of his cars stored there.
Oh, cool. Right here. Thank you so much for showing us your place.
Yeah, you're welcome. Hope you had fun.
Still, my most viewed video is our tour in Japan,
Oh yeah.
which, I mean, I don't think any place in the Honda world, at least, can rival that place, right? It
Yeah,
is-
just there's so much history there.
Yeah.
And like cleanliness is part of it. As you can tell, we kind of translate their philosophy to our business over here. The way we build the cars, the way we set up our warehouse. We kind of have to keep that tradition going.
Yeah. Although you don't have a car elevator yet, maybe your next place you'll have a
Yeah.
car elevator.
I don't think we're as tight on space, so we don't
Right.
need it.
But yeah, no, thank you so much. Thanks for letting me drive this,
Yeah.
and hopefully we can feature a lot more of your builds.
Of course, yeah. Welcome anytime.